Getting colder, but officially winter is not quite here. We have to wait just a little longer.
Thank goodness. But wouldn't it be great if we knew how cold it will be and how much snow or ice we will get weeks in advance? Meteorologist Jamie Jarosik is here with a planning forecast that gets you ready.
LRC stands for LEZAC's recurring cycle. Gary Lezak, the chief meteorologist at KSHB, the NBC station in Kansas City, developed it. I first learned about the LRC when I worked with Gary back in 2004. Now, some say a forecast that's more than 5 days out isn't very reliable, but Gary challenges that assertion, forecasting specific storm systems months in advance.
Now, how much snow will fall this winter season? Let's take a look at our winter forecast.
Like most meteorologists, Gary Lezak has been fascinated with weather since he was a child. He'll tell you it's not just a job for him, but a passion. Even on his days off, he never stops analyzing the atmosphere. It's this attention to detail that helped him discover the LRC back in the late 80s.
I noticed that a winter storm in December looked very similar to one that may have happened a month or two later in January or February. And I was like, wow. And then I compared the upper level charts and I could see how it wasn't just the storms were similar, the weather pattern was similar.
The LRC maintains that a weather pattern sets up each year between October 1st and November 15th. Once it's in place, it then cycles over and over again throughout winter and spring, eventually falling apart as the jet stream weakens and lifts north in the summer. Lezak watches the pattern set up looking at the storm level, roughly 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. Here, he tracks what he calls long-term long-wave troughs. These are the main stormy spots that can mean very active weather. Snow, ice, and below normal temperatures are all possible. The LRC maintains these troughs set up over the country in semi-permanent locations and then cycle through. So if you're stuck under one, it could be a rough winter. The locations of these long wave troughs are different every year, as is the actual length of the pattern itself.
Thing that happens when we're trying to predict the weather using the LRC is that the jet stream gets stronger. So the pattern you're in now in November, in late October and November, the pattern that develops won't change according to my theory, but it will get stronger. So with a stronger jet stream in December, January, and February, the pattern may act differently. So storm systems that are up to your north, due north, in November may end up south of you and producing winter weather later in the season, and it's up to the meteorologists to try to pick those parts of the pattern out.
Last year's cycle was about 50 days. On any corresponding day in the cycle, you could see the similarities on the charts. The main features are numbered from October 31st, 2010. Feature 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the roughly 50-day cycle, the corresponding dates are December 17th, February 7th, and March 26th. The one that looks a little different here is February. That's when an Arctic air mass influenced the pattern. Now, while the pattern doesn't predict small-scale weather, it can give us an idea of where and when larger storm systems will occur months out.
You can make forecasts for the season. It's tricky, but you can also make forecasts for a storm system that happens in December, and you can come within a few days of when that storm system will be returning. You might be a day or two off, so it's still tricky, but there's a way to forecast the weather somewhat accurately, let's say 65 to 70% accurately as you go months out.
Well, Lezak is not sure exactly what causes the LRC, but by mid-November he does have an idea of cycle length, and we'll get an even better feel for it after 2 complete cycles. So the most important question, what is our winter going to be like? We'll give you an idea coming up at 6. Jamie Jarosik, 2 News on your side.